So what happens when you record a video at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're running off of 0 hours of sleep? I have no goddamn clue. Let's find out. So what's up, ladies and gentlemen, Epic Lake Glade here. Welcome back to another video. Now today's video, we're going to be covering the 2023 San Diego Regionals top 32 results. Now I was watching a bit of this tournament and I thought it was incredibly cool, and apologies we had to deal with the ads here. You know, I don't have ad block, so we're gonna have to deal with some ads, but whatever. So San Diego Regionals happened this past weekend. I thought it was really cool, and the stream was great. I think the quality was amazing. The commentaries that we had were really good, and I really liked the direction they're going with the stream, making it actually seem pretty professional. So I really liked the direction. I thought everything was really good. The only thing I had an issue with is when we had, was it like round 3, when we had Brendan Slane and Hayden McTavish and they had 2 disconnections because they couldn't connect. Whatever. But the tournament was run well. It was a blast to just watch throughout the weekend, and I wasn't able to go, but 540 some players were able, no, was it 531 players were able to go, and out of those 530 players we had a top 32. And so today I'm just going to be looking over the top 32 teams, kind of giving you guys my thoughts and my analysis on, like, all right, what did I expect, you know, what's kind of surprising, like why did these teams do well, and kind of going forward what can we expect, because the next regional will be Liverpool. I believe Liverpool will be still using Series 1, but the next US regional is going to be Orlando. And Orlando, we don't exactly know what format Orlando is, because Orlando regionals happens February 3rd to the 5th or like something, I don't know. But Orlando regionals happens in February, which means it would be Series 2 instead of Series 1, but we don't know if they will adopt the Series 2 because, you know, it's just, you know, the format just came out. We will see on that one, but we're going to cover over this stuff. But before I get into it, if you guys are enjoying this type of content, especially like when down below, subscribe for more kind of analytical content covering the, I guess, top results from these tournaments. So we're going to start from the bottom and kind of work our way up. One thing I do want to say is TPCI, if you're watching this, please have us have day 2 Swiss, please. Like, dude, I don't understand why we have to play 10 rounds, because like I'm going to Orlando regionals. Why? Like, dude, I don't want to deal with 10 rounds of Swiss. I can deal with 8 rounds, dude. 8 rounds of Swiss is fine. But once you peak over like 8, like even 9 rounds is a little bit too much, but 10, that's just the point where you get exhausted. And it's like, no, I don't want any part of that. I don't want any part of that, bro. Leave that shit alone. Get that shit out of here. I don't want that. You know, like, nah, I'm good. 10 rounds is too much. So God bless all these players. Like, Pokemon's a fun game, but I don't want to play 10 rounds of it. I'll play 8 rounds. I'll play, heck, even 9, but that pushes. But 10? I've never done 10 rounds before. I've only done 9. So I can't imagine what 10 rounds is like. But these players have obviously done well. So we're going to get into it, starting with number 32 with Aditya Subramanian. So a really good player. I mean, we've seen him do really well in like online tournaments. I don't think he's had, either he's played before like the COVID, before we had the online tournaments, or like he's played before then, but I haven't really heard his name, I guess, before COVID. But over COVID, he's really established himself as a pretty good player. Aditya, yeah, also a sick name, dude. Aditya, like goated. Like, is he? I like my name, but like Aditya, that's kind of hype. But he's rocking a pretty cool team. So we're actually, this is going to be a trend you're seeing a lot this weekend. These sort of rain teams. So you're seeing a lot of dual steel types in the Cane Ambit and the Golden Go, paired with Pelipper, and the Tauros. I have that rain mode with the Amoonguss. The Mimikyu is a bit of a difference, because normally you see Palafin over the Mimikyu option, but you also have the mode for Trick-Room, which I understand, because like if your opponent has a really fast team, you can just set up Trick-Room and bring in Cane Ambit, or bring in even like a Golden Go, and Golden Go isn't like the fastest thing in the metagame, so you can like then have like a slow and make it rain. So overall, really cool team. 7-3 is crazy. Like, for 10 rounds, in order for you to make top 32, you had to basically be 8-2 to make top 32, and only a few 7-3s. You can see only 2 7-3s that have like really good resistance were able to go and get top 32 slots. So absolutely insane that like you have to have the stamina for so many rounds, like in order to just like keep consistently doing well at these high level, at these high placement tournaments. Also, shout outs to Coffee at 5:20 in the morning. That shit is disgusting. Ugh. Anyways, So number 30, we have Scott Iwafushi. Never heard of this guy before, and a lot of these players like I haven't heard of before, so it's kind of really interesting to see these players kind of pop up. But he's running a very interesting take because like there's not too much speed control, but we see the Kinamba, the Golden Go, the Baxcalibur, the Rotom Wash, the Tauros, and the Meowscarda. Now I'm going to assume the Tauros is going to be that Fire Tauros, so I think it's kind of sick because like you do have access for like Trick Room with the Meowscarda, but there's no speed control. But it's really cool because like Kinamba Golden Go is such a good combination right now. And then you have Baxcalibur, so if at any point I'm tripping up over my words. It is 5:20. But if at any point Baxcalibur can like get up a D dance, you're pretty much set and ready to go. So like that's really good. It's a solid team. Grand Laird's team. I haven't heard of this guy before either, but he's got the Kinamba. This guy has the Hariyama, so he's a bit of a Trick Room team now. He has Arbolivia. He got top 32 with Arbolivia, which is so freaking cool, man. Dude, I can't tell you enough. Like this guy's a legend, man. What a legend. Arbolivia, dude. It is life for it, but Sea Sour. This guy's a Chad for doing that. So he used Arbolivia to get top 32, a more Trick Room oriented team, which I respect. Like I think Trick Room's pretty good in this format as long as you can pilot it well. Like I think it's really good and it definitely is viable. I thought like early on in the metagame people were using like the Torkoal Trick Room, but I'm really glad that like people are kind of starting away from Torkoal because Pelipper's starting to be really popular, and then like Pelipper gets wide guard as well, so it like pretty much completely shuts down Torkoal. So I think like the Trick Room teams without Torkoal, like yeah, Trick Room teams are good. Like the Hariyama's good. Like dude, this seems like it's really good because like you have actually 3 potential Trick Room setters. Indeedee Female learns Trick Room now due to that glitch. Armors learns Trick Room, and Meowscarda can potentially learn Trick Room. So it's really easy to bank a Trick Room. You're gonna get it up consistently, which is what I like about his team. So that's pretty cool. And then number 29, we got Kaio Ayala. Karayoshi TV. I didn't know who Karayoshi what his name was, but Karayoshi is a really good online player. I think I played against him a couple of times. I don't remember if I like won or lost against him. I think we traded blows a couple of times. But he's a pretty good player, and he's running an interesting take on Dondozo. I won't harp on him too much. I hate Dondozo players because it's like pretty much free. But I won't harp on him too much because you know he does do an interesting take on it with the Sylveon and with the Volcarona. So you know, I think it's pretty standard. I don't have too much to say, but, you know, 8-2, pretty solid record. And we got James Beck, 8-2. Obviously, you don't need to talk about how good James Beck is. You already know who he is. If you don't, what to go, like, or if you don't, like, you've lived under a rock. But this guy's running a pretty interesting team, actually. Like, I was surprised to see Glomora. You know, you would think, like, this team's pretty standard. Like, when you see the Hydreigon, the Golden Goat, the Talonflame, the Tauros, the Amoonguss, you're like, all right, it's pretty much, like, standard offense with the one redirector. And, like, the Tauros, even though Tauros has Intimidate and it's still a really offensive Pokemon. You can just, like, deal so much damage with, like, Close Combat, Raging Bull, or, like, Flare Blitz or whatever, right? It has insane damage output. So you like this really offensive team, and Glomora even adds to the offense there, but you don't see Glomora a lot, so I think that was pretty interesting. Now the next one we have is Jonathan Zuniga. I think that's how you say it. But he has actually a pretty cool team. It's pretty cool balanced team. I would say like this is honestly a team I could like see myself running. See, I like using balanced teams myself, and this is a team I like. I've used all these Pokemon before actually. No, I haven't. Yeah, I've used Mousehole before. I actually have not used Skeledirge, but like, this team's super solid. You have like Azu. Azu's actually pretty good. I mean, you won't see it like too much in these tournament results, but like I like using Azu. I definitely think it's definitely fallen out of favor, but I still think it's a pretty good Pokemon. So we have Azu, Golden Go, Dragonite. I'm assuming that might be like the Terra, obviously like Terra Normal, Banded maybe. I mean, we can just check here honestly, but I think it's like Terra Normal, Banded. And we do see, oh, it's the Weakness Policy. Oh, that's fun. Yo, that is some heat. Yo, I might have to use that for myself. Weakness Policy Dragonite. Boys, I think I have a new video idea. I'm not gonna cap. It's gonna be, woo! That shit is gonna be spicy, dude. Unlike this coffee. This coffee's whack. Don't get the Starbucks Nitro Cold Brew. I mean, I wanted to stay up all night because I was working on some Pokemon stuff. I was playing some Minecraft, so I need to stay up all night. Obviously, the gamer hours, right? But the Starbucks Nitro Cold Brew is not the way to go about it. I mean, like honestly, you just get the Starbucks Cold Brew, but like the vanilla version, because it's 70 calories, so you get 60 calories more than this, and it tastes so much goddamn better. I mean, this is fine. I added some milk to it, so it's like palatable, I suppose. Anyways, though, cool team. I like it. Skeletors for the balance. Now we have Joshua Lorsi at 26, aka Lorsi loves you, the GOAT. Dude, you check out his Twitter, it's goated. I don't know why. This guy's just like, I don't know if I've met this guy before. I don't think I have. But he just seems super chill. Like, I don't know why. The tag Lorsi loves you is like one of the coolest tags you can have on Twitter. Like, look, beat my Twitter, every like late, like what a guy, right? Galade VGC, that doesn't hit as hard as Lorsi loves you. It just has that ring to it. He seems cool. And he has a pretty standard team. Like, this team looks like something you would see in like the first week of series 1. Like, this team is like pretty basic. You have the Hydreigon, the Annihilate, the Arcanine, the Maushold, the Rotom Wash, the Moongus. This looks like standard balance, or like semi-standard balance out of like the first week. So it's interesting to see that. I mean, Lorsi's a good player, don't get me wrong. Like, he definitely has had results in the past, so it's no surprise to see him cut. But like, to take a team like that, you know, that like normally, I feel like that team like hasn't really adapted over time to the metagame. But he's probably like Terra Water. He's probably like Terra Water, Annihilate. No, it's Terra Fire Annihilate. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, but it is the Focus Energy, it's the Scope Lens. Okay, but that's an interesting team. I think it's pretty sick, but like, it's definitely not something you would normally see. But now we got 25th place, and Nathan Oritz. Cortex always uses some interesting stuff, so spicing up with a Breloom and a Salamence this time around, which I think is super duper sick. See, this tournament was really cool because like yeah, you saw a lot of like teams that were pretty standard, but like the top 32 has some just bangers in terms of like Pokemon you wouldn't expect. So I think that's really cool. So we see with his team, he is just standard like, he's like just standard bulk with standard bulk with oh my god, dude, I'm blanking so hard, dude. I'm so tired. Okay, he's like standard size spam bulk, and you have like the Tailwind Salamence. I'm presuming it's Tailwind Salamence. Yeah, Focus Energy though with Razor Claw. So it's this is kind of hype though, because you're basically a Hydreigon, or you're basically a Hydreigon. I don't know how you say his name, but you're basically a Hydreigon, but you get Intimidate. Yo, and you have the build and Levitate because you're flying. That's kind of broken. That's kind of sick. And you got obviously like the Tricker mode. Skeletors is, oh shit, my mic. Fuck. Sorry about that. Skeletors is choice specs too. I know this is a cool team. This is kind of an unorthodox team, but I think actually something really interesting to note is like, I'm gonna talk about this a bit, but I actually think like, I'm not gonna say Salamence is meta defining, but like if you're looking for an Intimidate user and like a Tailwind user, Salamence is good. Salamence is really good. It fills both roles pretty well. Like, it's not going to be the best Tailwind user, it's not going to be the best Intimidate user, but like, it's pretty good, and it gives you also the attributes of like a Hydreigon sort of. I mean, his special attack is the best, but like you can still do stuff with it, right? It's still like you can still make it work. I think like it works on certain teams. But Nathan's a good player, so it's cool to see him do well here. Like, it's his what, 3rd regional cut, 4th. Like he's doing numbers for himself. I'm not gonna lie, this guy's doing well. Then we got Siege DeWay. I actually never heard this guy before. But he has a Splatoon profile picture. So, you know what? We're dropping the follow because he has a Splatoon profile picture. What a goat. So that's pretty sick. I don't know what this says. Studying in the US. What a goat. So, he did pretty well. But he has like a pretty standard team. I'm not going to go over his team too much, but it's like, it's like, we've seen a lot of innovation in the last like week and a half in the metagame, where a lot of rain has been taken over, and you see a lot of rain has been taking over the ladder, and a lot of Excalibur and Tauros has been coming in. But before the innovation comes out, this is like a pretty standard team. So without like rain taking over, and without like Tauros and Excalibur kind of like coming in and doing some numbers in the metagame, like I feel like that's a team that I would like commonly see. All right, so I mean, congrats, real. 8-2 is a good record. Number 23 is Colin Iyer. Very consistent player, got 3rd in the world in 2014. A really good player. I've only played against him once, and I did win. It was in the Players Cup. Now I did get some RNG in my favor, but you know what? I can say I beat Colin Iyer, so hey, that's pretty hype. I'm not gonna cat that's pretty hype. But he's rocking very interesting team actually. You see the Sylveon, the King Nambit, the Excalibur, the Volcarona, the Tauros, and Garganacl. So this team screams like super balanced to me because like, what are your hyper offensive Pokemon? Like Tauros, but Tauros is like hyper offensive, but it still has Intimidate, so it's like still kind of that supporting Pokemon. And you see Baxcalibur, but for Baxcalibur to be hyper offensive, you got a D-Nance, and D-Nance is supported by like Volcarona or having like the Intimidate with Tauros. This team like screams just, I play it slow and I play it like how I want to, you know? And I respect that. I think Colin definitely can play with that. Obviously a really good player. So it's really cool to see him grab another regional cut. Colin and I, if you don't know, he has a YouTube channel called The Battle Room. Highly recommend you check it out. Has some great content on there, and also just seems like a really chill dude. I'm not gonna lie, like I enjoy watching his content. He's one of my favorite VGC YouTubers, honestly. Like outside of like Aaron, and that's a +1. He's definitely up there as one of the best. So go give him a follow, go give him a like. He's pretty cool. Alright, number 22, we got Cedric Bernier, rocking a very cool team. So this is what I said about like how Salamence kind of fills this role of like a Tailwind mod. So basically, if you want an Intimidate user that if you want an Intimidate user on your team, but you also want like a Tailwind user, Salamence is there for you. Because like that's the niche that Salamence occupies. It basically acts as a it acts as like a mix of a Hydreigon. Because this is weird. You get that access to Intimidate. You also get access. You see Hurricane here. Hurricane. Let's fucking go, dude. I'm so hyped about that. I've been preaching to the people about Choice Specs Dragonite on Rain. But now we're seeing the recognition about, hey, at least some Hurricane Dragon is getting recognition here. And you know what's crazy? Pelipper is not running the Tailwind, so Salamence is the lone Tailwind user, and Pelipper is actually running Helping Hand instead, which I think is pretty cool, because you can just leave like Pelipper, Salamence, and Helping Hand like Hurricane something turn 1 and knock that shit out. That's pretty sick. I'm not gonna cap. And you can also like, okay, lead like, maybe like you get into a position where you have the Palafin hero form, and then you have Pelipper, and you're not sure, like let's say something you think you can do like 80 or 70% to something, but then you do Helping Hand boost and then you knock him out, like 70% with like a Jet Punch. But you need the Oko, you can Helping Hand that. It's kind of spicy. I like this. So the Rain teams, you can see like Rain teams have a lot of leeway in what they can use. So the Rain team that is being piloted by everyone right now is Pelipper, Palafin, Golden Go, Keenambit, Amoonguss. Dude, I'm blanking on the last one, but it's those core 5, and I'm missing one. Amoonguss, Pelipper, Palafin, Keenambit, and Tauros Water. You don't have to go that. There's a lot of innovation that you can do with Rain, and you don't really have to stick to that. I mean, with the Palmon on there, fits quite well. You have Fake Out Pressure, you have a Fast Mon, like it just all kind of goes in together. So you don't have to stay to that linear pathway that Rain can potentially have. I think Rain is the most diverse it has ever been. In past years, it's just been like, all right, you're gonna run Politoed Pelipper, you're gonna run Politoed Pelipper or Politoed Kingdra. It's like Rain's been sort of narrow in terms of like the water types you can run, but now there's so much synergy. It's like, all right, now you have Palafin. Okay, well now I can run Water Tauros. All right, well now I can run a random Dragon Mon that runs Hurricane. It's like you have so much potential, so many options with Rain. So really, like, if you're gonna take anything away from this video, it's that like Rain teams, yeah, I mean there's obviously a common trend with Rain teams, but literally just take like any of these little innovations along the way and you'll probably do well, because Rain's super good right now. Now 21st, I haven't talked to her in a while, but she's a really good player, and I was friends with her for quite some time. I haven't talked to her in a bit, but going 8-2, really solid appearance. She's, I think, the same age as me, so really, like, that's good. And she has a really cool team. We have the Hydreigon. It's too early for me to pronounce stuff correctly, but Hydreigon, Keenambit, Medicham. What the fuck? If you would have told me if you would have told me going into this tournament that Medicham would make cut, I would have said you're capping. Get out of here. Like, you must be smoking that Colorado green. I don't know what you're on. Right? I can see Mimikyu cutting. I can see Gyarados cutting. We haven't seen Gyarados in a minute. Like, is this the only Gyarados in cut? It is. Shoutouts to Nora for having the only Medicham and the only Gyarados in cut. What? That's crazy. But like Medicham's super good. Obviously, you get like the high jump kick. I think it was high jump kick. I'm pretty sure. Obviously, like the Power. Pure Power, Focus Touch, Fake Out, Trick, and Close Combat, Psycho Cut. That's nasty. Yo, this team is spicy as fuck. Okay, no. This is crazy. Okay, you might want to peep this team because this team has some heat. You know what? I might feature this team on my channel. This team has some heat to it. And we got the Scope Lens. Excuse me. And we have the Scope Lens Hydreigon as well. This team has some heat. I like it. Definitely see why you can go. Why she went 8-2. All right, number 20. We're getting close to top 16 here. We see Alberto Renero running actually a pretty standard team. Like, yet again, this is a team very similar to Joshua Lorsi's team. Like, this is a team I would expect to see, like, I guess the second week of Series 1. Because the first week of Series 1, we didn't really see much Azu, and then people started catching on. But it has, like, some innovations. Like, you see the Rotom Heat, you know, was a bit of a newer adaptation, but this team, I think it seems pretty fire. You do have to, like, it's pretty balance oriented. I don't have much to say about it. I think it's just neat. I think the Azu adaptation is really cool. You don't see a lot of Rotom Heat, but I think overall it's just a really balanced team, and you honestly just have decent matchups into everything, to be honest, unless you play well. So it's good. I'm also very tired, so if I'm skipping over like anything monumental and you guys like are thinking, oh dude, I can't believe you missed this talking point, let me know in the comments below, because literally it is 5:36 right now and I've been recording for God knows like 15 minutes. Like, I'm tired. That's by the way, I'm tired. But number 19, we have my boy Stefan Mott. Now if you don't know Stefan Mott, otherwise known as Painty, he's already a regional champion. And also a really cool guy. Like, I've hung out with him at events before. I went out with him. We all grabbed dinner after a regional. He's a really chill dude. Great guy to talk with. And he was my team captain for the VCL draft and the USPA league. So really cool guy. Definitely a really cool player. You know, funny story about Stefan is I was at a tournament back in early 2020, and I faced this one guy, and I faced Stefan. Now, he wasn't on the map at that time. He really just started VGC. And I played him. And I did beat him. But the only reason I beat him was because I timer stalled him. But I gotta say, like, I knew... I didn't think this player... I didn't think he was a new player. Because, like, if he was a new player, I would have expected him to play, like, a lot worse. But he played really well considering he was just getting into VGC. So, like... off the gate, I could tell like this guy was definitely good, and you know, seeing him win a regional, seeing him, you know, get top 32 in another regional, it does not surprise me. He's just a really consistent, good player, and using Scizor, the only Scizor in cut, I think. So shout outs to my boy. Like, what a go. I don't really know what Scizor's there for. I'm not gonna lie, I'm too tired to comprehend. Could be there for the Sylveon matchup. What is Scizor there for? Bullet Punch, Pounce, U-turn, Terra Blast, Terra Water. I don't know what it's there for, but I think it's very cool. I also with Encore and beat up for what justify for the for that Rage Fist. That you see, it's a cool team. This is just a cool team. This screams just cool. I like it. Really innovative. I like it. All right, so we got number 18 with Chase. Pretty interesting team. You have a little bit of the faster mode, and this is pretty interesting because it looks pretty standard. Obviously, like the Mimikyu, everything. But you have the Salazzle. But Salazzle was actually something I was looking into myself. I think it occupies a very small niche. I forget what the niche was specifically. But you get Fake Out. It's a Fake Out Pokemon. You get fire coverage, and you get poison coverage. So it's a Fake Out Pokemon. You're dealing with something like King Ambit. You're dealing with something like Golden Go. Golden Go is the main thing. It's a Golden Go counter that also gets Fake Out. And you like... Fire Poison in this gen is like coverage that basically just hits everything in the metagame. So you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Endeavor's really cool as well because you can bring down stuff down the sash to pick it off with the Aqua Jet. Mirror Earth is an adaptation I've been seeing because we've been seeing a lot of setup Pokemon like Baxcalibur, so I think it's very neat, and obviously with the Mimikyu, so I think it's very cool as well. Pretty solid team, pretty, I would say super standard, but definitely has some spicy text in it, but definitely something that I would expect to see in a top cut. Chase here, obviously deserved a spot. Chase has been on the map for quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like I definitely heard this guy. He's been around the block for a bit, right? I think this is like his breakout. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Like maybe he's cut another tournament. I'm not so sure. But honestly, congrats for going 8-2. Absolutely incredible. Now this guy I was very intrigued by. Ryan Haig. I actually didn't know who it was. This is Smog. I really had no idea. Like I was wondering who the heck this guy was. This is Smog actually. I had no clue. I'm not gonna lie. So I was kind of surprised when I found out that was Smog. I didn't know what name he went by. But it's a pretty cool team. I mean, all things considered, it's pretty standard. Like, the Volcarona is a niche pick, but you do see Volcarona because it's a redirector. Sableye was very interesting, but Sableye can be very known with, like, Quash and Will-O-Wisp, which you... Whoa! Encore Reflect Light Skin Disable. Bro, if you were to tell me a Sableye were to make cut and were to have Disable and were to go 9-1, I would have told you to get out of here. You're capping. But no, yet again, this tournament just surprises me. Because, like, what's crazy is people, like, have the spiciest tech this time around. I swear to God, like, I would have never expected Disable. But that's really cool. Because, like, especially in this format, you see a lot of Pokemon, like, Golden Go. And you see a lot of choice Pokemon, like Golden Go. I can't think of any other choice Pokemon because I'm tired. Like, maybe even Dragonite and stuff like that. That just like to spam one move. I mean, okay, I think this format has more choice Pokemon than any other format we've had before. So being able to just say, all right, you like can't use that choice move doesn't like make it so you struggle. I don't really know exactly how it works, but like you just basically negate that. I think it's really sick. I think it's a cool adaptation. And obviously screens to add bulk to the team, because like the team looks like you have the heavy hitters like D-Knight, Golden Go, and Tauros, and they're not frail by any means, but not super bulky. So now you have screens plus 2 redirectors to support the guys like that. It's just a solid team. So now we're in top 16. We got Brady Smith. Now Brady Smith, very good player, one of the best North American players, I will say. Not one of the best, but like he's definitely up there. I faced him on ladder a couple times, quite high up, and as good as I was never able to break through. He plays really good positioning. Like the guy's just solid. He's just solid. Also, I don't know if he'll have it on his Twitter, but he's a chat. I don't think it was on his Twitter, but he has gym pics of him. So he's a guy that hits the gym, that plays Pokemon. Be like him, hit the gym, get the gains in, and play Pokemon. What a Chad, bro. What a Chad. He's got some muscle, and he plays VGC. That's crazy. But he's running pretty. This is what I'd say is a pretty standard like week 1 team. The Talonflame, the Golden Go, the Garchomp, the Grim, the Rotom Wash, the Amoonguss. What I'll say about these teams is you can run these teams and have success with them. Because they're like, it's just standard. Like you have Tailwind, you have screens, you have redirection, like you have the heavy hitters like Golden Go, you have Garchomp with Earthquake, you have Disquake options. Like you have all that you need to succeed. And it might not be like up to date, like specifically like with the meta of the game, but like you have all the tools you need for every situation for the most part. So as long as you're able to position and play well, it's a good team. I'm not gonna hate on it because like it is a still solid team. We got number 15 is Zach Carlson. Zach Carlson's another good player. We got another Dondozo team. So what I'm actually intrigued by is like I expected there to be more Dondozo in the top cut, but really like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 32 teams had done Dondozo. If you were to ask me how many teams I expected to be in cut that had Dondozo, I would have said around 10, 11. So I'm very surprised it's as low as 5. I mean, I was expecting at the very least, 8, right? At the very least, 25% of top cut teams would have Dondozo. Just because I feel like it's just too powerful. I think it's just too good. So the fact that we're seeing not as many in cut, that's quite surprising to me. Maybe that's a telling sign, but maybe it's not, because Dondozo is still fucking busted. That mon's still good. That mon's still gonna be really good. Like no matter what you do, that mon's still gonna be very good. +2 and everything's crazy, and then the additional with like, is that speed on Tetsuguri? Because I don't know, the different colors represent like the different stat boost or whatever. But I mean, it's a pretty standard hyper offensive team what I think is really good on Dondozo Tatsugiri teams is Palmot. I think Palmot is so incredible on those teams. I think this is an example of just a beautiful team. I mean, Golden Go can be substituted, honestly. But like Palmot, the combination of Palmot Meowscarda on Dondozo teams is just, in my opinion, one of the best combinations for Dondozo teams. Like really, if you're not running like the Sand variant, Palmot Meowscarda works so well together. So go for that. It's like the bread and butter of Dondozo teams. Alright, number 14. Holy shit. Ezekiel Cordero finally got a cut. Zekrom Zeke has been playing for so long, and I maybe he's had a cut before, but like I feel like this was his breakout moment. Like Zeke's a really good online player. He's always done well in tournaments, but like I don't know, like yeah, maybe he's cut a regional before, but like I feel like this is his breakout moment, so I'm happy for him. He's been grinding this game. I mean, he did use like the semi pretty much standard kind of rain team, but you know what? He deserved it, so congrats to him finally getting that regional cut. Excuse me. And I apologize to Zeke if he already had a cut, but still congrats nonetheless. We got 13th with Mars. Standard team, actually, we see the very similar team, not the exact team, very similar team though, with Chase and Mars. Although this time he has the Golden Go there as well over the Kanambit. I think that is the only difference. Oh, and the Hydreigon. So basically, he took Chase's team and said, all right, instead of a Trick Room option, I just want to be more fast-paced. Obviously, with Baxcalibur having like a Dragon Dance and Hydreigon having like the crit scope lens option, obviously just hitting hard for damage. We do see it as the crit scope lens option, so like you know it's gonna hit hard. This is a more hyper offensive take. It's not even the Dragon Dance; it's just Sword Stance. This is a more offensive take, relying on the redirection, relying on the fake out support in order to get these guys set up and going. You have Nasty Plot on the Golden Go as well. I think I saw that's the wrong team. Here we go. You have Nasty Plot on the Golden Go here just to even like further boost that, so you can go fake out Nasty Plot. So this team's just a more hyper offensive take, which I quite like, honestly, because you have the support for us. I think it's pretty good. I think there's a reason why it went up there. It wouldn't personally be the team that I would use, because it definitely feels like I feel like I could pilot this team well, but I feel like it takes a certain person to pilot this team. This is like a type of, this is like offense balance, because like it's not full offense, because I consider full offense like Tailwind stuff, but this isn't Tailwind stuff. This is like offense, but with support, with like fake out, intimidate, and redirection, but it has to be played right, and I think he did a pretty good job with it. Angel Miranda's team is Angel's a really good player, so it's cool to see him top cut again. He's using the pretty standard team, like the Kinamic Golden Go, Mimikyu stuff that I was talking about earlier that you kind of expect to see now. Nothing really much to say about this team. I don't think there's any big surprises here. To be honest, it's the AB Grim, Grass Terra Tauros, so you can obviously like ignore the Rage Powder. Life Orb Pelipper, which is kind of sick. That's the only big surprise. Elite Storm Amoonguss is crackhead, but I also can see why he's running it, because he also has Pollen Puff there. Alright, so we got in 11th place Wolf Glick. No surprise to see Wolf Glick here. Wolf here is like an incredibly good player, so obviously like it makes sense why he's here, and he's using the cheeky Dondozo team. Another really good team. This team's especially good because you also have the side Trick Room option. I mean, Meowscarda and Armarouge might have Trick Room. Alright, so you see Armarouge obviously has Trick Room. Meowscarda does not have Trick Room, but you get the side Trick Room option if you need to, so you can like, I don't know, have Sylveon under Trick Room. Like it has a couple modes, and if you're successfully able to set up Trick Room and your opponent's anticipating like a more offensive lead, or more like, I don't know, you lead Dondozo Tatsugiri, you lead like Meowscarda, or if your opponent expects you to lead Dondozo Tatsugiri or like Meowscarda something, but then you just lead sorry, I'm blanking. Then you just lead Armarouge, you're able to get up a Trick Room, and then you're able to bring in Sylveon, deal some damage, and then like later on you can bring in Dondozo under Trick Room, or like once Trick Room expires, and then you're good to go. Like there's a lot of combinations this team has. Obviously played under Wolf. Like the thing that I found really interesting about Wolf's play with Dondozo is like most Dondozo players lead Dondozo Tatsu, but Wolf was like playing it very defensive and very positioned. He positioned his Dondozo in a way where he didn't use his Tatsugiri until like midway through the game, because he didn't really need to. which is what I think is really cool, because like here, Dondozo Tatsugiri is, to me, is like Colossal. A Colossal player doesn't really intimidate me because I know how to deal with it. A player that a really good Colossal player that knows how to position well scares the living daylights out of me, just because if positioned well, it's almost unstoppable. And that's what Wolf does. That's what Wolf did with his team. Like, he just positioned in such a way that is really almost inspiring. Like, it kind of gives me a whole different look on like how you can play Dondozo Tatsugiri. Because normally I thought it was a very linear playstyle, but you don't have to, you know, just have Dondozo Tatsugiri right beside each other. Like, you can have Dondozo be on the field, rely on its good natural bulk. Anyways, deal some good damage with Wave Crash. Kind of just sit there, you know, recover some from leftovers, you know, do your thing. And then have another mod. Excuse me. And then whenever you need, bring out Tatsugiri and then get that boost. It doesn't have to be immediate. You can wait for when the time is right, and that's what Wolf did. That's what made him so effective and able to get top 16 there. And his team was pretty good. And number 10, we got Alberto Lara. Now, I kind of feel bad for Alberto Lara. Like, you go to his Twitter, this guy is one of the most consistent players of all time. He has 20 regional top cuts, and he's a 3-time regional champion. Not someone to be taken lightly. Obviously, an incredibly talented player. I mean, honestly, like, every time there's a regional, I feel like you kind of just expect to see Alberto Lara cut. He's incredibly consistent. But what's unfortunate is he always seems to, like, lose. You see, like, look, 2 times international top cuts, but I don't know. He always seems to lose in top 8. Like, I don't think I ever really see, or maybe like top 8 or top 4. He never makes finals for the most part. Maybe he did one time, I'm not so sure. But what a guy, dude. Honestly, super consistent player, running a pretty interesting team. It's a cool take on your hyper offense with the double dragon with Garchomp hydrating on Golden Go. You're backing that up with screens. Obviously, you have unaware Skeletors to maybe deal with the shit. Oh my god, all my ring binders just fell over. Wonderful. All right, well, I guess we are going down here and repositioning our mic because I don't feel like adjusting it right now. But we see the Skeletors is the Terra Grass to deal with the Dondozo. This is probably a really weird camera angle. I'm not gonna cap, but you know, I guess it'll work. All right. But yeah, we see the Terra Grass Skeledirge. All these things are falling over. That's great. Choice Scarf Garchomp is actually pretty nice because like the team lacks a lot of. It has speak to it. You have Tailwind, you have the Grimmsnarl with Thunder Wave, but it's kind of a slow means of control because you have slow Corviknight with Tailwind and you have to take a turn to Thunder Wave something. Right, so having Choice Scarf Garchomp actually adds a lot of benefit to the team and giving it a more immediate, fast ways. Because like the issue with this team is like you face a Dragapult and it kind of sucks, but it's fine because you're Choice Scarf Garchomp, so you outspeed Dragapult. So I think it's a really nice adjustment from Alberto Lara, taking a very standard core, innovating it by giving the Garchomp Choice Scarf and then adding on to it to make that have a more defensive backbone, which I think is really neat. Very defensive. I think it's very creative and I do enjoy it. Then we have Gavin Michaels. Now, before I go on, this tournament was incredibly stacked. I mean, we had multiple world champions, so many regional champions attend this event. And everyone that made top 32 was definitely like fighting for their lives to get here. And it's just absolutely incredible. Like, obviously, Wolfclick, Alberto Lara, Angel Miranda, Brady Smith, Stefan Mott, Colin Iyer, James Beck. These are all, like, household names, you know? And Gavin Michaels. Gavin Michaels using the Standard Rain team again. I think this is one of the better versions of Rain, personally. In my opinion, I think it is. But like I said, you can feel free to experiment with other versions of Rain. However, I think this is the most popular one right now. And I was playing ladder yesterday and I faced it quite a bit on ladder, so I think you guys should be prepared for it. Nothing to really say about his team, same as the last. Giovanni, this guy's been popping off recently. Like, this guy's been doing really well in tournaments. But he's got a pretty interesting team. A pretty unique take on what we've seen prior, but just slapping the Gargantical on. But we're seeing a trend. Like, the Tauros Excalibur is a really popular thing. especially with like some sort of form of speed control, albeit like Tailwind or Trick Room. I don't think Trick Room's the best for this guy, but like you have Trick Room with the Garganacl, and if you're not like the fastest thing in the field, then you have like Golden Go as well. So I respect it. I think it's pretty cool. So there's a common trend between like Bex Caliper and Tauros, and obviously you're still seeing Golden Go being used in just incredibly much, because Golden Go is going to keep being Golden Go and keep being busted. Meowscarada is pretty good in this, just to wrap it around. It's a nice Sashmon here. James Evans' team, I don't really know how to feel about. I think it's very balance oriented. I don't know how to feel about the Titan and Bombasnow. I think it's good, but I think like it either just works or it just doesn't. But I think his team's super well rounded out. I do like the Gothitelle adaptation. The fact that you'll see Giovanni Costa also use Gothitelle. I think Gothitelle's just really good at controlling the state of the board. James took a more, like, his Gothitelle is very more balance oriented in terms of how it plays. With Giovanni's team, you know, you have Gothitelle with a Meowscarada, Gothitelle with a Golden Go, Gothitelle with a Dragonite, and so if your opponent leads wrong, you can just like fake out and then just like be able to deal a lot of damage. But James' Gothitelle is more all about control, because you're not really going to be picking up one-hit knockouts with like a Titan, maybe with the Tauros or like the Hydreigon, but it's definitely more about like supporting the guys to make sure they get in position. While Giovanni's Gothitelle is more about just like, all right, faking stuff out so these guys can hit hard. I do like James' team. I don't know how incredibly viable Snow is. I think it's more of a testament to James as a player as anything else, because James is an incredibly good player. I mean, he's a world champion, and he's a senior world champion that went on to do incredibly well in Masters. Like, holy shit, this guy's amazing. So I can definitely see the appeal of Hale, but I don't think it's honestly that good. I'm not gonna say it's bad either. I think it's definitely niche, but I think it's like you have to be off the bat a really good player to use Hale effectively, which obviously James is. I do like the Rotom Wash rounding the team out as well. Giovanni Costa's team though, do like it. I think it's pretty sick. Pretty hyper offensive team. Like I told you, the Goth is there for the balance. Not gonna talk about it too much. Emilio Forbes, 10-0 on Swiss record. Dude, this guy won Secaucus Regionals undefeated, and then he went undefeated in Swiss. He might be one of the best North American players. I mean, he got second at Worlds in 2018, and with a really cool team, obviously with the Dondozo Tetsugiri Talonflame, but sneaking in that Glamora, and I think for the coverage is just really sick, because you're hitting a lot of things hard in the metagame. I mean, think about it, you're hitting like opposing Tailwind users with the Power Gem, you're hitting opposing Fairies, you're like, upon lead, you're gonna hit a lot of things super effective, because like you don't want to lead Sylveon into this, you don't want to lead Meowscarada into this, because then you're gonna get clapped. But I think it's just a really cool adaptation. Now, what's really interesting is Aaron Brock. I've literally not heard of this guy. Now, okay, actually, never mind. It's Clippers, so I haven't heard of his like real name. I just know by his online name. But I think he is probably the coolest team in the tournament so far. This is why I say you don't have to use like Rain in the conventional way. Like, we're gonna look at Judy Azzarelli's team here in a second, but Judy Azzarelli took a more, I mean, it has a more of a creative approach to it than some other rain teams, but it's definitely a bit more standard. But Aaron Brock has a side rain team, but he made Dreadnought work here, and I think it's really sick. I think it's a really cool team. Now, this is definitely more of a hard Trick Room team, but you definitely have like an outsider Trick Room option with the Meowscarada, with the Pelipper, with the Dreadnought. So I think it's still really solid. I think like the team blends really well and has a lot of good synergy, and I definitely think it's something that you should be wary of, because like, the scary thing about the Trick Room teams, especially teams like this, is when they have both a Trick Room option that's just as good as their outside Trick Room option, which means if they can blend their team together well, and they can position themselves well in Trick Room and outside Trick Room, it's very hard to play against them, just because like you might be able to deal well with Trick Room, but what if they position themselves outside of Trick Room? Then you're kind of boned, right? So I think it seems super solid. I mean, all the Pokemon are really cool. It's cool to see for Regigraph and Hariyama get some love, and Dreadnought. We're a lot of unique Pokemon here. Then we got in third place, Judy Azzarelli. No introduction, 2014 World Finalist. What a go. We all love Judy. Working a very pretty standard team, obviously with the Salmons for some spice. We've seen Salmons here popping up a lot. I think it's worthy of that. I think Salmons like is pretty good. And we're probably going to see like the Life Orb Tailwind variant or whatever. Scoblins could also be it. We're seeing the Life Orb Tailwind variant with Draco and Hurricane. I think it's super solid. Honestly, like, I really like it. I use Dragonite over I use Dragonite over Salamence just because I like the multi-scale, but I can also see where the Intimidate is useful. And then we got the finalists, Chupacross, and G-Sockley. Now Chupacross, not going to go over his team too much because I already talked about it, but Chupacross basically shows that Dondozo Tatsugiri is still really good. I mean, I think Dondozo Tatsugiri is going to be like really good throughout the metagame, but getting second place with it at a 531 player tournament is nothing to scoff at. So we know Dondozo Tatsugiri can perform at the highest level, but G-Sockley running a very, very cool team. I think what this tournament really proved to me with G-Stock's win is how much the meta has changed. So you're seeing a lot of influx in Mimikyu, seeing a huge influx in Tauros, a huge influx in Baxcalibur. So if you're going to take anything away from this video, I'm not going to touch over G-Stock's team too much because I already kind of talked about it all throughout this tournament. And I don't think Garganacl is always going to be sort of there. So like I don't really need to touch on it too much, but if you're gonna like take any away from like the meta and how it's changing, number one, rain teams are becoming a lot more prevalent. Number two, there's a couple new Pokemon cropping up, like Baxcalibur with a bit of support is really doing well. A lot of Tauros are popping out. Tauros Water is becoming incredible for its nice defensive typing and for its ability to just hit a lot of things hard in the metagame. And Mimikyu's being really used as a nice trick room setter, but also performs really well outside of trick room, as like being able to counter some of the most meta Pokemon. So there are your options there. As you can tell, I'm extremely tired, but I did hope you guys enjoyed my analysis, kind of my thoughts overall, or of the California regionals. Overall, I thought it was really interesting. I'm not gonna lie, we had a lot of old faces in this top canal, some new faces as well, and some, you know, not new faces, but like new faces to get like a regional cut. So I think it's really cool. This tournament really just showed up like how creative we can get with teams. Like there's a lot of variety here. I think that's cool, and not like not one archetype feels extremely overbearing over the metagame, except obviously Dondozo. But that's kind of just a given. So honestly, like I feel like this metagame is shaping up to be really good, but it's gonna be interesting because I think Liverpool Regionals is actually Series 1. I don't think it's in February. So, you know, if we have one more Series 1 regional, you know, what are we gonna see? My prediction is we're gonna see Rain probably take the cake. I'm not gonna. I think Rain is just going to be innovated on more, and we're going to see Rain take the cake. I think Rain's going to be incredibly dominant. It's just going to be incredibly dominant, honestly. So I would expect that personally. But I still think Dondozo will do well. Like, I think Dondozo is going to perform well, but I think Dondozo is going to fall off just a little bit. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I need to go edit, maybe get some sleep, edit this. I do all of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, smash the like button down below. I appreciate you staying and enjoying me kind of talking about the metagame and like what I kind of expected. But if you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe. I really appreciate you tuning in. Anyways, guys, I'm Glade, and I will catch you all later. Peace.